that we're seeing a rise across the country when it comes to fraud, whether it be in Columbus, Ohio, Minneapolis, Minnesota, in Augusta, Maine. It is obviously from sea to shining sea worth of fraud. And Senator Rand Paul recently came out with his Festivus Report, inspired by Seinfeld, back when this was a proper country. But the airing of grievances that he lists was in two categories. You had general waste through contracts, subsidies, and other grant programs, and then combine that how it feeds into the overall national debt crisis, where our national debt interest payments are now even higher than our military budget. And some of the wasteful spending that's pushing into our national debt crisis that is obviously having a mandatory impact on taxpayers, because as our tax burden increases, it's subject to an increase regardless of what the rates are, because when the national debt is at 38 trillion, you're financing it at the minimum payment of 1.2 trillion. If that keeps going up, the taxpayers are on the hook for it. And some of these programs that we're funding are from anywhere from monkeys playing video games to the effects of alcohol in adolescent ferrets, cocaine experiments with dogs, health and human services, celebrity influencer campaigns, and the cartoonish spending sprees. Probably if you just did a Mad Libs, you could probably come up with an exact federal program that was greenlighted by the government over the last year. And unfortunately, the total amount of waste that was identified in this one report was $420 billion. Now, at $420 billion, if you just abolished all the Festivus waste identified, if you were just to sunset all of it, you would easily have the room to abolish the corporate income tax. And we're trying to find relative and pragmatic ways to roll back the tax system. Well, the first tax is government spending, and it's not like we're getting a great return on investment studying alcohol use in adolescent ferrets. It's pretty obvious. So between improper payments that the GAO estimates at $170 billion a year, to the general fraud, waste, and abuse that's been identified through OMB, GAO, DOJ, you name the investigative agency, it's anywhere between 5 to 10% a year across all government programs. So let's just go in the middle and have it at 7%. 7%, if you cut that, it would be almost $500 billion. So even cutting less than fraud, waste, and abuse, you'll allow for fraud, waste, and abuse to still exist in the massive federal budget if you just eliminated the Festivus waste identified by Senator Rand Paul. You would actually have more than enough room to cut and abolish the corporate income tax, which is going to be bringing in close to $350 billion. So you'd actually be budget positive if you were just to cut the Festivus waste and still abolish an entire layer of the federal income tax apparatus. The spending has to be reformed in order for this economy to truly take off. It is the albatross on the economy.